What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Oh, God, I feel excited about tonight as always. I'm in for the first. Am I the first in? No, there's about 6 other people here before you. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show as always. Appreciate you taking some time out. What a day in the markets today. It is cooked, all right? Doesn't matter how you're looking at it. Not Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve. Cooked as in, it is literally a scam. This crypto market. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, we'll get into what's going on today. I want to break down some pretty key points, some very important charts, and we'll get to your views and thoughts and opinions at the end of the show. So as always, if you're brand new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Remember, we break down these markets every single day. I upload content every single day. We'll live stream on TikTok as well. Shout out to Casey, the OG, absolute on it moderator. Welcome in, bro. We're going to get into all of that as well. So lots to discuss. FYI, by the way, I am officially on dad duty as well. So, just to pre-warn you in case anything goes wrong and I have to go and deal with any children kicking off. I'm on dad duty, but hopefully they are well asleep. So, yeah, so welcome in. Like I said, hey, bro, it's me, 3M India guy. What's going on? Behave. Good to see you, pal. Welcome as always. Inflation is down. Can we get a rate cut? No. Absolutely not. GDP for the US, 4.4% as well. PCE in line. Every bit of ingredients there that should have told us Bitcoin rallied. And actually, Bitcoin did rally. The problem was it dumped just as hard. This is fear in the market and could be the signal that we might be about to break out. Now, I know people are thinking, oh, here we go. Some super economist thinks he knows what he's talking about. But, you know, I like to come with receipts and I like to talk about why I think that might be about to happen. So, with that being said, we're going to get into it as always. Fat Sonny says, I'm long, hoping for a relief rally. Yeah, I took a couple of trades. I mean, I did talk about them. I didn't post them in the Discord, so I apologize. However, I did literally talk about them live on the show last night. So if you missed those, we'll discuss them in just a minute. So, right, there you go. TikTok, you can see the screen as well. Like I said, this will become a thing of the past as we connect everything up and start to get super bullish on life. So, let's do it. Let's get into it. Here you go. Also, if you're on YouTube, by the way, you'll notice that I've moved my little screen. It's about this much further to the sides. I don't know why. I just thought it looked a little bit better. All right. So here we go then on the Bitcoin price. Still rejected from this line. This is the key line we're looking at, which is the first little hint that we might be potentially going to see a reversal here. But you can see what we have dealing with today. The market's kind of, you know, we're pretty volatile. This is the 4-hour chart, by the way. So you can see this kind of Thursday move. We actually came into Thursday kind of optimistic. There was definitely a sentiment on the back of, you know, a pretty volatile day yesterday. As you can see how that's kind of breaking down. There was a lot of a view that was like, hey, we're going to see a little bit more movement here. It definitely could be a little bit of a bullish thing. Yeah, I believe so. Loads of people are spreading loads of like nonsense that, oh, Bank of Japan. I literally unfollowed someone and blocked them today because I was sick of seeing their nonsense about, oh, Bank of Japan's going to race by 100 basis points. Like, no, they're not. They've literally said they're going to hold it. Now, that might change, but I don't think it will. So, again, Bitcoin here currently holding below this trend line. As you can see, we broke through. We even retested it on the disaster day that was Tuesday. This is obviously the day where, you know, Trump went full on Hunger Games with Greenland, and we all thought that we were going to end up basically going to zero or ending in some sort of weird war that was going to happen. And we bottomed out here at around 87.7. Now, the importance of these candle closes here is giving us a little bit of an idea. 88.345 is kind of a low range here on this trend, but this line is what we've been talking about. We've been keeping this on the daily candles, as you can see here. Some very important touch points from that low here at 80,516 all the way back in November 25. Actually, this has been an uptrend. Now, the problem is we broke this. If you remember what we talked about yesterday, though, geopolitical events do tend to be a buy the dip opportunity, right? We've been saying this. The problem you've got is the buy the dip only works if you then break back above key support. So earlier on today, it was like, oh, everything's kind of looking all right. Here we go. Look, you see, this is off the bottom, printing back up. Here's the start of Thursday. We actually wicked all the way back above 90,000. And you're like, all right, nice. This is kind of a optimistic move. This feels a little bit better. And then we've basically dumped ever since. All right. So we've just seen massive outflows. BlackRock dumped about $500 million of a mix between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So whenever we get this like momentum going, people are desperate. And I mean that in the genuine sentiments. They are desperate to take some money off the market. Now, that could be for a number of reasons, right? It could be for a number of reasons that, you know, people truly believe we've got nothing else in the market. People are convinced that the end of the market's here. And just to confirm that, what I was saying, by the way, look at this. This is the exchange volume in the last 24 hours. Look how much BTC has hit exchanges. The cumulative number, 12,135 Bitcoin have gone back onto the exchange platform, sitting around 2.471 million. Now, if you remember the heights of early October, that back end of 2025, we were nearly under 2 million Bitcoin available on exchanges. That simply is not the case anymore. And actually, we are seeing this flow back in, which tells us retailers, institutions are selling back to the market. So again, worth noting here. Does it change tomorrow? Not really. And actually, what's kind of disappointing about today is the data that we got suggested that, the US market was good. So as much as people want to hate on Trump and want to kind of, use him as leverage as to kind of why everything's not really going very well, then the fact of the matter is, though, a 4.4 revised, well, not even revised, actually, 4.4 GDP is pretty bullish, if you ask me, right? That's pretty bullish. And it's expectation at the start of the year, by the way, if you saw my video talking about the crypto market this morning, it was like 2.8%. Right? Think about that. 2.8%, and you are already at 4.4%. And that is a steepening GDP expectation. So you could argue right now that the US is booming, which, look, you kind of want it for markets, but that's why you ain't getting no rate cuts. Because what you'll probably start to see, jobs will start to pick up. And essentially, you're going to basically be sat with just a pretty flat rate. So the important thing is, are we going to get a move tomorrow? Well, tomorrow is pretty flat. There's no reason. Davos is pretty much over as well. So it's like, well, is there going to be a sentiment that moves the markets tomorrow? Probably not. Probably not. Because it's like, well, what would be the catalyst that's going to move us? And I don't think that we're going to see it. But that doesn't mean that we can't start to trend. 4 hour negative. Hour just starting to take back. So what are we looking at here on the 1 hour that we've discussed a number of times? Break back above the 20-day EMA. Now we can draw loads of all crazy charts and all the rest of it, but essentially look at this 20-day EMA, 50-day EMA, super simple techniques to trade against. And look, we're rejecting right now on the 50 days. So if in the 50-day EMA, right? So if we're looking for a move upside, breaking the 50 EMA, which is this red line, and then back above this key macro support line. Essentially, 90K is kind of what is a little bit of an enigma to get back over, right? That's what we're looking to break right now. Just to dead quick show you this selling pressure. Look at this. These are the BlackRock selling from earlier on. And like I said, it was relentless. Well, not even relentless, actually. This was just a dump at a absolutely coordinated same time. They dumped an enormous amount, and they dumped it all at exactly the same time. Look at this. This is literally to the minute that they dumped this. 9 hours, 9 hours, 9 hours. Normally you see this spread over the course of 3 or 4 hours as they try and, I guess, try and exit the market with the highest potential average price of this. Oh, no. Today they were like, we are nuking this, right? Nuking this. And they just dumped all of this. I mean, this is insane, by the way. It's like $500 million dumped on the same freaking candle, which is kind of what you got on some of these big wicks down. They dumped it half an hour before US Open as well, which is kind of wild when you think about it. But anyway, and then what you've seen then is a slow grind back up again. It's a kind of a playbook we've sort of come to synonymously with the US market opens right now. Dump it on open, slowly grind your way back up is kind of what we're seeing. So that's kind of where we sit with BTC right now. Altcoins obviously got wrecked, which again, you could argue is maybe this is the play. Maybe it's like, well, dump Bitcoin. It weakens altcoin markets. And I'll show you some charts later on that talk specifically about what's going on with retail investors. This chart specifically and a couple of others that is aligning to maybe a thesis that tells us it's all a bit of a game. And unfortunately, we're on for the ride. Does it tell us that there's going to be a bull market towards the end of this year? Probably not just yet, but again, that could all change pretty quickly as well. So some of the key altcoins just to think about: XRP 191 showing a discount there. 131 is the current negative price. Getting into some of these other ones, AVAX looks like it's going to lose $12, which is absolutely insane. You've got Ondo down at 34 cents as well. Now, a couple of good ones here. Asta, if you remember, I talked about this yesterday at 60 cents. This actually did wick a little bit lower than this, but I said yesterday 60 cents was definitely an interesting play to go long from. It's about here. So I took a long trade on Asta, still in that trade as well. So we'll see where this one goes. Right now, it's printed about 2%. So it's not the biggest trade in the world. Break above the EMA here at the 20 could actually signal a nice little move. The other one I was watching, Zcash. This was a decent move as well. Once again, looking right now, if we break the 20 EMA and this support line here at 367, this might end up being a nice little trade. TP1 being at 380 at the 50-day EMA as well. So a couple of breakout opportunities sitting in here. Canton cooled off back below the support level. Maybe it's a short trade opportunity, but look at this EMA here. Canton's looking very bullish right now. I think if this can push back above this line, we might actually get some really strong move here on Canton. So keep an eye on this one. This one actually might play out pretty interesting. Top to bottom, what have you got? Look at this. Holding right now the 618 Fibonacci at 15085. Break that. Might be an interesting move to start to push back to the upside as well. So a couple of good ones there. Also into the memes, we were talking about maybe Pepe being a trade. Again, what did I say the other day? Look out for this. It may come a little bit lower. It looks like it's probably going to lose the 5s as it did. Potential push down here at the 483. We've not been lower than 483. I'd be looking at maybe 481 as a potential intra trade back up to the 20. We'll see. All right. I think this is definitely going to be something you play on trend. Dogecoin. Yeah, Dogecoin is a similar story, really, which tells us memes are pretty painful. If you were looking for an entry, I think 12.2 could be a good entry here. This is prehistoric. This is historic trend line here for Dogecoin. If it comes down and retest this, as we've seen before here with the bounce back up to the 20-day EMA, I don't think I'd want to go any much more than that. 15% down on the week tells us that there may be an opportunity. But the trade, as always, freaking gold, baby, is going to the moon. All right. It's going to the moon. Gold, which tells us that markets are still risk off. And it looks like silver's probably going to break $100 tomorrow as well. So be mindful, because if people are going into gold, they're going into silver. It's a number of reasons. We talked about it yesterday on the stream. US equities being sold off. Yes, albeit Trump's not going into Greenland. And essentially this deal's come out that he's not paying anything and he can get the dome and da-da-da-da-da. It's still risk and people don't like risk. Again, Russell, though, is giving us some signs that maybe there could be a rotation in the future. We'll have to kind of wait and see. Gold will top at 5,100, maybe. I mean, we said about RSI and gold, didn't we? It's just not showing any signs of slowing down, which is kind of, you know, pretty interesting as well. US Treasury is still looking okay, nothing crazy. Stock market having a bounce. It's the problem. Look at Meta, 5%. That's a freaking big move on Meta. Likewise, Oracle coming back at 2.4. Nothing super crazy here. Tesla back up at 4.49. Pretty interesting one. Again, broke the 50 here. Not that we really trade stocks, but worth noting here on this point. So what does it kind of give us as a sentiment, I guess? We need to see a little bit more upside moves, which I know people go, well, obviously 2-bit. We want to see it move to the upside, but upside while you get EMA retests coming in as well. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And that's sort of what we want to get into, into kind of these. And like the title says, these are the real markets. These are the ones making it. Rob says, I'm just holding what I have, not buying anything at the moment. Yeah, same. I haven't bought anything. I have traded way more, but in way more structure than I've done before. A lot of EMA retests, I think, are very, very good indicators as potential moves. And actually just, grabbing opportunities and swings when you can, rather than going FOMO in on 100x leverage and absolutely just sending it to Goblin Town as quick as you can. But yeah, these key levels for me are where we were looking for. And until we get into that, unfortunately, we are still where we are. But worth noting here, this is still essentially a nice little canal. Canal? That's not the right word. Is essentially a consolidation. It's a sideways movement, isn't it? It's not doing anything. If you were to put this as a parallel chart, for example, which is here, look, you would argue that outside of the kind of upticks, you've got that. That's a really obvious parallel chart in which we're just trading in between. The debate's always going to be what happens, but if you look at kind of how the structure is working, with the exception of here, this is the weird one. But we know that this was kind of all really super geopolitical. But, generally speaking, you could argue you've sort of got something like that. So it's decision time a little bit now. It looks like we have bounced. So you could argue maybe we see a pushback to the upside, which would take us back to around 94,000. What's the catalyst to get us there, though? That's the big question that we've got. Are we going to start to see market structure built, potentially go full Republican that might push it through a little bit? Maybe you get some defectors from the Democrats come across and actually that gets pushed through a little bit sooner. Or is it going to be something that we've got to look forward to next week? Well, the problem is there isn't really a lot coming next week. A little bit of Fed interest rates. We all know what that's going to be. It's going to be flat. Nothing's going to change unless you get flat interest rates and you get a dovish Federal Reserve, which is unlikely given everything that's going on. But crazier things have happened, all right? So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But this kind of sideways pattern is pretty interesting. Are you trying to say channel, not canal? Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was trying to say. There, what's going on? Hoofty in the building. What's going on, pal? Swamp's in the building as well. What's going on, buddy? Gold. I said that, didn't I? Tim. He loves only gold. He loves only gold. Good evening, sirs and ma'ams. What's going on, buddy? Prehistoric equals Elizabeth Warren. Haha. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. All right. Total market cap, by the way, down below 2.99 trillion. But look at this. Holding very much on the market structure here. So it's kind of a little bit of a nothing burger, really, at the minute. And, you know, thank Christ Davos is through. That's kind of what I would say with that. You know, we don't need any more noise coming out of Davos, any more complications coming out of Davos. Do you know what I mean? It's like, sick of it. Sick of it. But, yeah, fingers crossed we start to see a little bit of a move. All right, people. So that gives you a little bit of a view of what's going on in the markets and a little bit of a flavor for some of the macro TA. Remember, we do have our Discord channel if you want to get involved in that. Highly recommend it, by the way. We post charts and TA as we see. Yeah, Craig, you don't have to message me on X, by the way. I can see you in the chat. If you want to get access to that, by the way, link in my bio. It's also in the description as well. And if you want to trade these markets and you're thinking, hey, do you know what? I'm bullish. I know what I'm doing, and I am a fantastic trader. Then check out my link to Bitunix. That's also in the description as well. Great platform, no KYC, deep liquidity, all your favorite coins, and equally got some amazing sign-up bonuses, 50% rebate bonus as well. So, excuse me, check out that link in the description. Highly recommend it. It is worth your time. All right, good. Let's get into a couple of little things then that I want to talk about, and let's sort of discuss what's going on. Look at this. To steal someone's Bitcoin, all you have to do is win the Powerball lottery 8 times in a row and then repeat that 292 million times. There you go. Oh, bring quantum computing. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, I think it does need to reclaim 3 trillion. I think it will. We'll do the usual quick scuba, you know, at the pre-markets, but I said at the start of the week, I thought we would see really pants beginning, flat middle, bullish end. So I'm expecting a decent day tomorrow. Now, whether it plays out, who knows? I mean, I also have been calling that I think Trump might bomb Iran tomorrow night, but we'll see. People think I'm crazy, but you know, there's literally every bit of arsenal being moved into the Gulf and has done all week, and they're literally there. It's like, and when does Trump like to go into places? Friday night once the market's closed. So watch out, watch out. I hope it doesn't, by the way, but yeah, we could definitely see that. So yeah, I thought this was an interesting one. All right, good. Look at this. Don't buy Bitcoin if you can't hold it for 5 years. Look at this. The predictions of losing money over the course of a day, week, month, quarter, year, 3, 5, and 10 years as you get out of the short term, which what we always say is sometimes you just got to ignore the short-term price action. Now, it doesn't help when you've been here and you've seen 125,000 and everyone was like, oh, we're going way higher. They scammed us. We lost everything. But the probability of negative returns based on a BTC daily close between 2010 and 2025 says you had a 47% chance of losing money if you closed you sold your BTC within 24 hours of buying it. Think about that. 46.9%. Move it fast forward. As you get into the year, it's about 23.5. Once you get to 3 years, though, 0.7. And essentially, if you hold Bitcoin for 10 years, you have, I mean, it's a little bit disingenuous bitwise, but, you know, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it bitwise. All right. Remember, at the same time, I think people are still wondering if the government will shut down at the end of January now. Yeah, but no one's talking about it. So, yeah, Stardog, yeah. Honestly, I could definitely see it happening, by the way. And I think, and if it does happen, then we were right all along, and Greenland was just a distraction. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. But if you're going to buy Bitcoin, probably proves the point Vern was talking about here. It'll all happen at the weekend with Trump. Well, we literally said that. That's why I think it could definitely go down tomorrow night. I mean, I hope not. You know, no one wants to see anyone get bombed, but let's hope it doesn't. But anyway, if you hold Bitcoin for 10 years, as Bitwise says, it's good news, all right? 0% chance of losing money, all right? Take it with a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt, all right? Good news. Good news. Now, retail investors bought the dip. Now, I must state, by the way, you do have to be mindful with some of this data, but when I start to look into some of this, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, do you know what? Maybe it is. Individual investors net bought $1.8 billion of the S&P 500 ETF SPY. Yesterday, the largest daily purchase since October. Retailers are going into the stock market. Why? Because the stock market's going up, all right? Which tells us that at some point, maybe, when the stock market does roll over, and it will roll over, by the way, because stuff can't go up forever. There'll be something happens. Maybe some company overdebts themselves. I don't know. But yeah, the third largest inflow since April 2025 market recovery. And year-to-date, retail purchases have exceeded 1.0 billion every single day. These are the people that should be buying friggin' frog coins and ETH, and they're not. They're buying the S&P 500, which is kind of wild. For the weekend of January 14th, individual investors purchased over $12 billion worth of equities, the largest weekly inflow in the last 3 months. Like, that's not messing around. That is absolute FOMO like you wouldn't believe. And I'd argue, and I can't remember the number on gold, but it's like some insane number that people are buying it. So, you know, you think like people are completely freaking out about everything, and they're just aping like lunatics into gold, into silver. Everyone believes that the global financial markets are about to completely collapse. You're like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, here you go. Look, here you go. I thought I'd be able to get you. I thought I'd be able to get it. Gold ETF inflows, the gold plus silver plus quantum ETF net flows topping over $12 billion at the back end of last year. That should give you an idea of where they are. Absolute insanity right now that we're just seeing this huge surge on stock markets while, you know, Bitcoin continues to go down. It's like, bro, come on. What the heck? This is not how it's meant to be. Trump got strong armed. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's saying that he's got a great deal, and maybe he has, right? Maybe he has, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I speculate maybe retail is driving TradFi markets and he's not like... Yeah, exactly. So you've got retail driving things like gold, things like silver. You've got banks. Like, for example, the Chinese economy, or Chinese... What would be the word? I don't necessarily mean banks, but basically China, let's just call it that, is dumping US treasuries like you wouldn't believe, right? They are absolutely unexposing themselves to the US. But while they dump treasuries, they're buying gold. And that's why you're seeing this skyrocket move on gold. Copper will be an interesting one to watch out. Lots of people think that's going to move next. But yeah, they are reducing their exposure. That's why Trump can go ahead when the EU were like, yeah, we're going to dump $10 billion worth of US treasuries. We went deeper into this last night, which I don't want to go back over it. But it is kind of interesting to think that the leverage from the EU is like, yeah, we're just going to dump all of your treasuries. And actually, it doesn't really weaken the EU. It doesn't really weaken China because it's going to buy gold. It does incredibly weaken the stock market from a perceptional perspective, because stock market would dump just through natural movement. You have yields go up, the stock market would come down, mortgage-backed securities would go up, all of that stuff. So the markets would dump on the back of it. So, you know, that's why you're seeing, in some respects, China doing what they're doing, in my opinion, anyway. Apparently a lot of fake physical silver bars going around too. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Trump did say the stock market will double. Exactly, which is why this whole narrative where he's been strong-armed a little bit with the EU is exactly that reason, because he can't afford the stock market to go down. It's absolutely the one thing he's holding on to. 37, what's going on, buddy? So if he holds on to that, then, you know, that's kind of where all his leverage sits. The minute that goes, then, yeah, he's going to have a real tough time at the midterms. It already looks on every poll I've seen that they're behind on the midterms. My toilet is a 5-gallon bucket outside. My trailer roof leaks like a wall, and I survive on PB&J sandwich, but I'm still stacking more. That's exactly the way to do it. Yeah, my kids don't get school lunch anymore because I'm buying XRP and BNB like a crazy man. Anyway, so look at this. Bitcoin ETF weekly inflows. I wanted to show you guys this because I thought this was super, super interesting. Midterms in November. So there's a little bit of time yet, but they are behind on a lot of... this Greenland thing's very unpopular, which, again, you'll notice that Trump's now come back out. So we've got Greenland, great deal. Tariffs with the Supreme Court, which probably rule against him, but tariffs in the Supreme Court, you're going to get $2,000 coming back out. Like, he is going to be, like, absolutely shilling this market. So the problem is that'll drive the stock market. What we need him to do is be like, hey, we're going to be giving away, you know, $2,000 in Ethereum. That could be good news if we get that. I think it's unlikely. But anyway, weekly flows on ETFs. This is the weekly close that we've seen. Now you can see them you can see them kind of broken down. So gold is the IBIT, so essentially the BlackRock, or the dark orange, by the way, the BlackRock ETF. Red is GBTC, that's the grayscale one, which you can see at the start. Obviously, grayscale nuked the market for at least 3-4 months. What you can see now, though, is, in my opinion, this is just general selling, buying, just trading, nothing super crazy. Yes, what the difference is, we're not seeing them as net buyers, though. So that is a important thing to reference, by the way, not net buyers. Japan raised rates for the first time in years. Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think they raise them tomorrow, by the way. I think they hold them. But, man, everyone today, so many people have sent me the picture of Caroline Ellison. I don't think it's her. So many people have sent me it. Have you seen it? Like I think it was Edward Vincent was like, "Oh, 2bit, can you confirm this?" And it's like, it's definitely not Caroline Ellison. Like, there's no way it's her. No way. What's going on, Selma? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Damien's in the house. What's going on, pal? Good to see you, Damien. There's just no way, no freaking way on this earth that's her. I don't care what anyone says. Not a chance. That is not Caroline Ellison. That has to be AI. Has to be AI. Anyway, Zach, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. She's got to do the test ride. Magic Case, Trump will only talk about crypto once he is himself positioned. I mean, I think they're pretty well positioned right now, but just, yeah. But this is interesting. So if we get some further inflows on ETFs, then we might actually start to see this push back to the upside, which would be good news. Hopefully we see it. Now, how do we know this could rotate and start to push as well? This is another interesting chart that I want to show you. You probably need to see this actually, TikTok, because it is a pretty interesting chart. Let me just put it up on the screen for you guys. There you go. You can see it. Oh, sorry. There you go. So this is the Bitcoin inflation adjusted price. Okay, so essentially, what does it feel like to hold Bitcoin? And we've talked about this number a long time before. We've also talked about how it feels. Remember, markets generally go up based on whether people think it's good value to buy or not. So if you've got Bitcoin at 125K and it's the first time it's ever got to that point, people are a bit like, oh, you know, it's probably a little bit too expensive. I'll probably need to just chill out and see where we are. So what you've got here, just to give you a couple of interesting points, realized price, which is the purple line. Essentially, this is the, this is kind of the price of expectations, should we say. That's probably the best way to describe it. So what does it feel like at the minute based on the data? The green line is the true mean price. So take away the big spikes, take away the dumps. What is the average price of BTC that's been going? It takes out, volatility that sits within the market. And then you kind of look at some of these key areas. So obviously you've got the black line, which is the reference date. So this is kind of the bit that goes on. The big red is 300% MVRV, 200% MVRV, and 100% MVRV, which is essentially how much does it feel? So 100% is like, well, it feels a little bit more expensive, okay? Which the numbers don't make sense to the actual full price of BTC. You can see here, though, that this is actually kind of where we sit for the total price at the side. But for the sake of these numbers, they do sit slightly different. So what do you see here on this chart, and why is it important? Well, you can see here, this is 2021, this enormous spike here where you get this kind of explosiveness that people don't think it's expensive. Why? You've got euphoria, you've got hype. I bet if you did one of these for gold and silver right now, you would be seeing a very similar pattern to kind of where we are. What you're seeing right now is literally the least, most boring sentiment in the world. Essentially, what we're saying right now is nobody, as I've been saying for the longest time, cares about crypto. No one cares about it. No one wants to buy it. No one wants to trade it. No one wants to hold it. No one wants to do anything with it. Everyone's like, it's just not for me. I'm going to go and buy gold or Oracle shares. Now, this necessarily doesn't mean it's going to be bad news. Actually, what this could mean is that, as some people are predicting, that we have just been in a consistent bear market now for actually quite some time. It's not clear on this USD chart, but it's obvious against gold that Bitcoin has been in the bear market for a year now. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to that fact because we all-time high in October 6th, but you could say essentially October 6th was tops. 10th was the capitulation event where we saw the biggest outflows and liquidation events in the cryptocurrency history. Since then, that was the black swan, bear market catalyst, shall we say. When you're looking at comparing it to gold, you sort of get into a very similar pattern that takes us all the way from the early start of last year. But we did get this wick up, but this is Bitcoin against gold. Perhaps right now is the best time to be buying this market. Maybe it is. Maybe this is actually the bottom, as we've talked about. And a number of people have said this. And actually, people are going to mistake this bear market move when the market starts to rip back to the upside as the double top. And actually, we could see this end up absolutely leaving people behind. Who the heck knows? This is something I'm researching pretty aggressively at the minute to get a very much stance of what is understanding. Do we think we're in a bear market? What are the statistics telling us, and what are the obvious signs that we are? Or is, like we've said, just simply a correction from 125? It could be the second double top coming in, all of that stuff. But I thought this was super interesting. If you compare Bitcoin to gold, we are definitely in a negative trend. When you look at it here as well, in terms of a weekly candle, which we have looked at before, by the way, so this is nothing new, and you overlay the price of gold, you start to get a pretty interesting view of what is going on. So let me just change this here to a bit more of a gold color, and Let's just do it bright yellow. It's just easier, isn't it? So you got the weekly candles here, and you've got that. You can see that actually Bitcoin is essentially decoupling from the gold market, and the gold market continues to the upside. When do we see this happen before? Well, we see this happen where actually then Bitcoin catches up. Look at this. Go all the way back here to, where are we back here? Like early February in 2024. You saw exactly the same. Gold made the move up. Bitcoin lagged behind. All of a sudden, Bitcoin comes back. Gold spends its time catching up. And we haven't really outperformed. Gold didn't really outperform Bitcoin until we broke here. Well, what was the day that we broke? And this is the really important thing. And I was staring at this the other day going, oh my God, how have we missed this? How have we missed this? Well, we missed it because we're a little bit noobish sometimes. But when was the moment in which gold essentially became the coin that outperformed BTC? Well, guess what? It was October the 10th. There's a surprise. You get what is deemed as, in my opinion, in the market, a absolute deliberate deleveraging of this crypto market. And whether it was a real, shock therapy, whatever you to call it, right? But this is essentially October 10th. This wick here, this is October the 10th, all right? That is the moment, that day, gold started to outperform BTC. Pretty interesting. So the question then is, well, how far does it go until we then get the catch-up trade for Bitcoin on this? That is left to be seen. Too much geopolitical stuff's going on. Too many people are involved in this that tells us it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to that point. That's what we kind of need to understand. And that's ultimately what's going to be the challenge for gold and for silver. But essentially what we do know is that Bitcoin does and has always caught up and has always then gone back above gold. And historically, that has then continued on to a peak. So if we said, if Bitcoin breaks gold, that could be an indication to tell us that the markets are about to go. So as much as people are just looking at gold rolling over, hopefully we're going to get it. How do we know gold's going to roll over? Well, there's a number of key things that we've got to think about and a number of key areas that may drive this. Namely, the fact the Federal Reserve, or the US Treasury, by the way, keeps buying back Treasury bills. They bought back $2.8 billion in debt. This is a pretty bullish move. The liquidity positive move. They're injecting liquidity into the market. OPF Norfolk! Member for 1 month. Let's get it, baby. Hang in there, lads. Thank you so much for the support, buddy. Welcome to the Members Club. Are you already in the premium Discord as well, by the way? I feel like you are, but tell me if you're not, because if you're not, then I'll add you back in. And I just realized TikTok, I've like completely just forgot that you were there. So you can't see my face. Not that I don't think you care, but yeah, this kind of work to it puts it in why I love this channel. Thanks. Fat Sonic, I appreciate you being here, by the way. Oh, nice. You got the premium Discord as well. Bullish on that, mate. Bullish on that. Good news. Right. Have we got any? There's a new person in? Nope. They haven't verified themselves, so they don't get in. Have you verified yourself? Nope. So you don't get in either. And if you verified yourself? Nope. You don't get in either. All right. Cool. Cool. So yeah, so good news on this. So this could be an indication that actually, as we move through treasuries, remember, what are people doing? People are dumping treasuries and buying gold. Well, what happens when people start dumping gold and buying treasuries? Well, why would they do that? Well, because the price stalls on gold and the price on treasuries starts to become a little bit more appealing. That's kind of why we're looking at it from the Bank of Japan. Hopefully they keep their interest rates flat. Hopefully we then start to see that play out a little bit more favorably. And actually then we start to see yields come down on the treasuries, on the US treasuries. That would be bullish for markets. That would be bullish for Bitcoin. Look at this. US treasuries at the top end, the 30-year down marginally. But look, the 10-2, these are the two we're interested in. 4.25, 3.6, up very, very marginally. These are what we're looking for as a potential decline. And that could then see a gold top come in and then a BTC pump. So again, we could definitely see that. Treasury yields being bought is good. Manufacturing coming first week of Feb is definitely something to keep your eyes peeled on, though, because that might signal something as well. Wealthy people aren't poor and stupid. They won't be dumping gold for bonds. It would depend. Well, wealthy people aren't stupid, but at the same time, they are human, the same as other people. If they can afford it, and you got to understand, wealthy people aren't really the people that are going to move this market, really. You know, eventually you're going to have this argument that banks will start to reposition gold because they won't be able to hold it. They'll have to do something with it as well. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. Hold on a minute. I think my missus is ringing me. That's just marginally awkward, isn't it? Hiya, I'm literally live streaming right now. All right, okay, yeah, okay. Right, you have to give me 2 seconds, everybody. 2 seconds. The missus is outside. Back. All right, there we go. We're back. See, you all had a nice little break. Bless her, she's absolutely pissed through because it's raining. Anyway, don't say anything, all right? Stop laughing, it's not funny. Okay, where were we? So, we were talking about the fact that, look, these, this could absolutely convert over, and we're not looking for big money. We're not looking for whale positions. We're looking for that retail investors, those crazy people that stood and queued up to buy gold. They're the people that will dump this sooner. Exactly the same as they've done with the Bitcoin, and exactly the same they'll do with stocks, as they have done forever, by the way, because gold cannot go up forever, all right? And we've seen that. At the minute, it's like super FOMO, isn't it? Super FOMO. So we'll say, hey, buddy, can you please tell me about ICP chart? Yes, I will definitely take a look at it in a minute. I mean, enough profits, that will drive the price down. There is always corrections. Yeah, true. You think wealthy people don't move the markets? I think you have to define what you mean by wealthy people, because someone who's got $2 million worth of gold isn't going to move the gold market. Let's understand how big the gold market is. If you're saying, well, wealthy people, if you're referring to, say, someone like Larry Fink who runs BlackRock, then fine. I think you have to define that. And I don't think there would be a coordinated sell from wealthy people. However, there is going to be coordinated sells from institutions. And I think when you've got banks that have been stacking gold for the longest time, they are not going to sit on that forever. They're not. It's just a fact of life. Like, they will either have to do it for deposit capital or they'll do it to reinvest into something. And it doesn't mean that it's kind of going to go anywhere differently. But, this gold pump is like, it's out of control. Like, it will correct. What price it will correct at, that's the question we've got on everyone's mind right now. But yeah, gold right now, even if you just look at it, RSI is hugely overbought. Again, MACD is massively over as well. And the chart's insane. I mean, look at it from a weekly chart. Now, and it might be that, that for example, would be a correction in the market. That wicked up to what? 3493 and then came all the way back down to, 3165, like $200-300 in gold. It's pretty insane if you think about it. Agreed to it, there will be 100%. Doesn't mean that it's then going to not continue to go to the upside. Of course it is. But remember, gold is also not a finite thing. But look, you can see corrections all the time in gold. All the time. Even here, I mean, this is a pretty big correction if you think about it. Look at this. Gold went from here, 4377 and wicked down to 39. It's like $600, well, $500 on that. So gold will correct at some point. 100% definitely will correct. Where it goes to, and it's similar to the Bitcoin price, this 20-day EMA line is very, very strong right now for gold. We've seen a little break underneath here back in 23, but right now, gold is moving and look, it is doing what it's doing. And that's why we're seeing stocks rally, golds rally. This will drive, it's going to drive sentiment. Equally, don't forget, gold's a massive risk off. So, countries that are dumping US treasuries and bonds are going into gold. We know that. We know China's doing that. China's halved their exposure to the US in 12 months, and they have increased their exposure to gold tenfold. I mean, it's pretty insane. So right now, you kind of go, well, is it the big part is, what did companies, whales, big money, what would they have done in the past? They went into Bitcoin. They went for a little bit more risk. Why? Because you had massively easy money. And, 2021 is a great example of that. You look at gold price. Look at gold in 21, for example. So look, the rally up came in with Bitcoin, but we topped here August, and then gold corrected. So exactly the same playing out, to the point here that gold had a massive rally up to August 20. Overlay BTC on top of this. This one. Gold absolutely outperformed Bitcoin exactly as it's doing right now. Gold corrected, Bitcoin continued on. That's when we got the new all-time highs in BTC. Gold consolidated after that. People rotated. Yeah, we saw wick down here to the 100-day EMA, but Bitcoin continues to rally. So, it's a tale as old as time, isn't it? Then Bitcoin comes down, gold goes up. It's like, just is what it is. That's what we're looking for right now. Are we about to see the reversal? But even when you look at, look at Bitcoin all-time high back in October here, gold took a correction. It's probably not as correlated as it maybe used to be, but it's certainly very close, and I think it's a good indicator to keep your eyes out on. Like I said, this market is definitely weird, and the fact you've got huge institutional buying right now on a number of aspects, and really, we're not seeing anything like what we probably should have done or did see when it comes to institutional buying of Bitcoin, means that we end up here, which is boring, trading sideways, but it's better to trade sideways than nuke to zero, isn't it? I guess is probably where I'm at. Thing is, what country owns the most gold, silver? I bet if we look into it, it would be Japan. No, it's going to be like the US or something. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. The United States holds the world's largest gold reserve by a wide margin with 8,133 tons, far exceeding Germany, Italy, and France. For silver, Mexico is the leading global producer, consistently producing more annually, followed by China and Peru. To give you a number, by the way, the total gold reserves, United States, 8,133, Germany, 3,352. That's interesting. Germany is second. Italy, France, Russia, they are the top holders. Top gold producers are China, Australia, Russia, and the United States. Silver is Mexico. And the top unmined gold reserves are Russia and Australia, and estimated to have the highest amounts of unmined gold with roughly 12,000 tons each. There you go. The US. The US are the biggest holders of it. Right, ICP. Let me bring the ICP chart up. I haven't even looked at this for a while, but I'm assuming it's just dumped from that move. Yeah, I thought it would do. It's a pretty challenging chart, if I'm dead honest. When you look at ICP, it's definitely kind of downtrend. We talked about this. I think we talked about it a while back, actually, but super macro downtrend, really. You might get another wick back up here, maybe, if something got super crazy bullish. It doesn't look like it, though. I mean, this kind of low-end support here that ICP's holding at about 340 ish. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting chart all in all at a super macro level. Going a little bit nearer, you've just got this relief rally, and then it dumps. This tells me that this has just been moved by maybe big money, maybe people. I don't know. It's bizarre, but you know, this is obviously with a big move back in the end of last year. Obviously, post Bitcoin all-time high. This was just 2 days of pumping it, and it's completely given up everything, as most of the market has, by the way. So depends when you go into ICP. It's not something I would be jumping into. Not something I would be jumping into. I changed my strategy because of low RR and win rate is right. I feel bad for previous strats. I'm still all right. I mean, if this Asta trade works out all right, it's up a little bit right now. Nothing super crazy, but it is up a little bit. Ben Lum's in the house. What's going on? I've been killing silver on the options. Nice. Yeah, anyone that's been trading commodities has been absolutely killing it. TJ, good to see you, man. Welcome in. Don't forget, hit the follow button, tap a couple of likes on us. Keep chatting as well. Keep asking you questions. The social media algorithms love it when people are interacting with the stream. So feel free, drop your chat, drop your comments, drop your opinions, thoughts, views. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. Okay. They're never going to audit Fort Knox. Yeah, that was kind of talked around for a while, wasn't it? And then slowly was just brushed under the carpet. Like, nope, let's not go and do it. Let's not go and do that. We might find something we don't want. A gold dump will not result in a BTC pump. It depends why gold dumps, doesn't it? It would depend why gold dumped. Gold won't just randomly dump. It'll depend why. In my view. In my view. So if we get, I mean, what would dump gold? Would be a big announcement. Would be anything that was like making treasury yields a bit more favorably. I mean, the market structure bill, if they announce, if they announce the whole yield earning on stablecoins, then that might do something. The problem you've got is that we don't want stablecoins to pump. We want Bitcoin. We want the altcoin market to move. You know, Ethereum would be a good one, but you know, maybe a BlackRock Ethereum staking ETF could be good, and Fidelity come and get one, and you know, Wisdom Tree and all those, which would be good. Is an ICP a good coin to buy? I'm not saying it's not, by the way, and it's definitely had some decent moves. My issue with ICP a little bit was it pumped way too hard back in 2024. And actually the last two pumps, it's given everything up. It's not even held any uptrend price. So macro, it's going down. That's the risk you've got. Now, you could argue and say, well, hold on a minute, but the entire market's going down. What are you talking about? And I would agree with you, but fundamentals will be important here. But ICP has just given up all of it. Think about where it was. If you look at the, look at kind of here where we're April 2024, where it topped out at $20. You're down 82% on this move right now. You know, Ethereum's not. Ondo's probably another one, actually, that is bad. Ondo's probably not far off that. Maybe even worse, actually. Yeah, Ondo's 84. So, you know, you could argue the same for Ondo. The difference is, you know, Ondo is onboarding treasuries. It's onboarding ETF, you know, all this kind of stuff. I don't know what ICP's do. That doesn't mean it's not a good coin, by the way. And you've got to make your own decisions and trade your own markets. But yeah, that's my view anyway. Gold will dump because that's the cycle post blow off top. But it's not just going to... Well, I mean, it'll sell off if it gets to a ridiculous price. The minute, though, it doesn't look like it's going to sell off, does it? That's the crazy bit. So, like I said, we'll see. Whatever we are in this trend, like I think the weekly close, we still want to get above 90K. That's probably what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, we'll see. Come on, guys. Fort Knox audit is like believing in Santa. Even if they do release an account of funds, it'll be fudge. Yeah. Imagine they get to Fort Knox, they're realizing they're missing like 1,000 tons of gold. They're like, oh, this is literally backing our entire currency. Like, this would completely wipe everything out. Maybe that's the Black Swan event that helps Bitcoin. Maybe they do audit Fort Knox, and it turns out they're missing 1,000 tons of gold. And everyone's like, oh, shit, this is bad news. Everyone's like, all right, let's go buy Bitcoin. Let's do it. Let's go digital. Trump will say the audit showed that they'll have more gold than ever before. Lots of shiny shit. So much gold. So much gold. We got it from Venezuela. So much gold, everybody. Can you imagine? What's going on, Casey? Fairground, good to see you, man. Welcome. It's got tumbleweed in it, Kevin. You're like, oh, this is pretty tasty. Anyway, right. Cracking on. A couple of bits of news, by the way. Look at this. Rick Ryder. I can't believe at the start of the week, we were talking about Rick Ryder as like a no-hoper. Like, there's no way Rick Ryder gets into the Federal Reserve. There's no way that he is going to make it there. 31% chance. He's got more chance than Kevin Hassett, which is absolutely freaking wild. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? I did not think that was going to happen, by the way. So he is now the second favorite to become Fed chair, which is almost insane. Kevin Warsh still topping the charts there, 45%. But Rick Ryder, 31%, skyrocketing over the course of the last week, which is almost insane. And actually, Christopher Waller, who probably would be a decent bet, actually, and probably a little bit more balanced. I don't know much about Rick Ryder. I'm not going to pretend I do, by the way. But, you know, interesting that he could become the next Fed chair. Let's get it. BlackRock. All right, baby, let's do it. Yo, as Bitcoin Jesus once said, BCH is the better Bitcoin. There you go, Larry. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Goldfinger took it. Oh, Facebook videos are down. Nothing playing. Oh, no, BMX. The heck? I was thinking about, I don't have any exposure to Facebook at all, actually, but anyway, Rick Ryder might be the new Mac Daddy. Right, liquidity in Japan's government bond markets collapsing. This is worth noting, by the way, especially as we go into tomorrow. The index has doubled over the last 12 months in conditions of a 7.6 trillion bond market have deteriorated since 2022, and the bond yields have experienced one of the most dramatic increases in history. We want to see this. Chill out. That's why they're dissolving the government and redoing it, by the way. And the fact that you got foreign investments now reflects 65% of the monthly cash bond transactions, up from just 12 in 2009. People are like, oh, I'm going to try and buy the Terra Luna dip on Japanese bond market, which is wild. But why are you seeing a pretty flat US market as well? But yeah, it comes to the Bank of Japan has significantly reduced its bond purchases, while Japanese life issuers have sold a record amount. That's the problem. That's what happened with, that could have been what happened with Trump. Like, countries just de-risk against the US, which would be pretty bad news as well if you think about it. The Hidden Signals cryptocurrency trends propel strategic insights. Kim Young-ju reports significant losses and bearish regime shift in recent months. Apparently, again, look, the market's been in the bearish since 2025 due to low demand. No one cares. No one cares. It's the moment where it all comes back. CryptoQuant CEO Ki Jung-yu, a prominent crypto analyst, heads one of the largest platforms, says the Bitcoin investor reported net realized losses for the first time since October 23, and they reached 63,000 Bitcoin since December. That's pretty wild. Reflects a shift from profit realization regime to loss realization. No, people losing money when they get to the crypto market. Too bit CZ's people are going to get back to my people. I'll let you know. Tim! Get him on the show. I'm down for it. CZ, come on. Come and hang out. It's going to be great. But yeah, interesting, isn't it? The fact that Bitcoin net realized profit is bad. People losing money. People don't like losing money in Bitcoin. They think it's a scam. What does it indicate, though? Current pattern closely mirrors the bull-bear transition seen from 21 to 22. During the period, realized profits peaked in January 21, formed lower peaks throughout 2021, and subsequently turned into the net loss before the 2022 bear market. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, I actually looked at this earlier on, by the way. What did I do it for? Was it the month? Yeah, monthly candles. And again, depending on what you look at and depending on how you look at charting. But what do you have here? So this is the FTX collapse. I kind of like the fact we still have these on here, by the way. This is kind of nice little indicator. Like, oh, yeah, that's when FTX collapsed. November the 1st. Bullish. But as you can see here in the market, we then from the bottom. So this is, this is the absolute, bottom here, but we got the higher high followed by the higher low. What do we get? Higher high followed by the higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. The market structure is still very much intact here on the monthly candles. All right, so as much as it might feel like we're going to Goblin Town and everything's going to freaking zero, actually market structure on a monthly and weekly basis still looks pretty solid. All right, cool. So that leads to the kind of thesis that Cathie Wood's been talking about, in that if this is a bear market, maybe this is as bad as it gets. Maybe 75K is as bad as it gets. Well, what would 75K look like here? 75K would take us to here, which would probably signal that we may actually see a little bit more, because that would then bring us a lower high, which will be bad news again against here. But right now, if this could hold as a structure and we don't go, I mean, basically, if you argue 82,500 would essentially have a close on a monthly candle, would then debunk the higher low scenario, and that actually the market structure is still going up versus then potentially we are now starting to rotate to come down. So, you know, what could you say? Well, let's say we saw 6 to 7 months of just consolidating at this range, which generally you see after bull bear markets as well. Although, you know, historically we do see bigger pushes down. But think about it. This only is then depicted on markets up. If you argued from here, the 2021 move, so April 20 all the way up to the Pico peak, was about 700% move. What did we see from a downtrend perspective? We saw about, hold on a minute. We saw then about, what am I doing here? To the downside, we saw about 75% decline. So again, what does that look like where we are right now? From the top to where we sit right now, interestingly, we're about 30%. Maybe it's just less. Maybe it's not as big a deal. Green line is frozen ice. I'm not sure how easy it is to extract those commodities, but I'm no expert. I'm repeating what I heard. I mean, it'll take some money, won't it? That's why Trump's on about. I mean, the deal I heard is he's got it for free and that he can go and lob at what he wants in there. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, worth keeping an eye on. And then look at this. BlackRock sees Ethereum as the gatekeeper for tokenization, even though market share is drifting elsewhere. Interesting enough, Larry Fink talked about tokenization at his speech at Davos, which I think is interesting as well. Larry Fink's like, yeah, everything's going to get tokenized and it's all going to be super crazy. I personally think he was talking about XRP, but you know, maybe that's me being slightly more optimistic than not. But hey, interesting to think, by the way. Interesting to think. All right, watch out. BlackRock doing something, and I think they're doing it with Ethereum, as we've been talking about now for the longest time. Wow, Bitcoin has just took an absolute dumperino right now, down to 89,000. Pain like we've never experienced before. Thank you, crypto. Thanks for playing. Now give me your money. I won't be ETH too slow and costly. Oh man, since they've done the upgrades on ETH, it's like dirt cheap to use ETH Layer 1 now. Like, it really is. Have you not seen the ETH gas fees? Bro, like, people just have completely missed the point here. Ethereum Layer 1 is insanely cheap right now. Look at this. Look at this. I want to do a swap. It's going to cost me 5 cents. You want to buy an NFT? 9 cents. And I know you'll say, well, yeah, but it would do. Like, network activity is super slow right now. But, you know, think about it. Average utilization is 62%. It's not that, you know, bad, but it's insane. Like, ETH Layer 1's pretty competitive right now, if you ask me. Pretty competitive. So, yeah, think about that. Wild, if you ask me. Just like the quant chart, the monthly highs and higher lows. Yeah, quant's been holding up pretty well, in fairness. That was actually rallying a little bit. 80 cents, 36. Holding the 200 EMA there. That's the 15-minute. We're not bothered about the 15-minute. There we go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, look at that. For quant, absolutely still within market structure. You'd argue then, you know, to see a consistent push, you're looking at a potential break back of above 100, but we'll see. Definitely got better than last. Yeah, ETH's actually pretty solid, I think, as a layer 1 right now. And they've got way more coming as well. So ETH's going to get quicker and cheaper, which is great. And that does allow you to think about what does mass adoption look like. If ETH layer 1 could actually transact for cents on the dollar versus tens of, on in some cases, hundreds of dollars, all of a sudden an institutional agreement, that feels way better, doesn't it? That feels like I can transact effectively across the markets and do all that good stuff. So yeah, watch out, in my opinion. Could be bullish. Man, it's chucking it down outside. It really does feel like it's absolutely leveling it down. All right, good. Well, I can't believe that's nearly 50 minutes of the stream gone already, which is insane. But if you got any questions, thoughts, opinions, views, or whatever, let me know in the chat. TikTok likewise as well. Drop that little, drop a little question. Let's see. It's over to you guys. Give your thoughts and opinions of what is, what's going on. I want your thoughts. I want your views. And it'd be great to just chat through a couple of bits. Like I said, don't forget, if you want to trade these markets, do check out the link to Bitunix. It's a great platform, by the way. I've been doing loads of my trading over there. Really good platform, deep liquidity, no KYC. It's super easy. They've got all what you need, all your favorite cryptocurrencies. And like I said, an exclusive offer right now for the 2-Bit Crypto community. So again, grab the Discord link, jump in there. Also, pretty much most of my videos have the link down there, so go and watch them as well. But yeah, you also got some trade volume bonuses, futures bonuses, everything runs up until January 31st. Check it out now while you can. You're right, starting with the project now, ETH is probably the choice, but when it gets super bullish, it won't pay 500 to cash in, 5,000. Yeah, well, I mean, that's going to be the test, isn't it? When ETH actually gets put under a bit of pressure. But, you know, imagine ETH's absolutely rallying. Yeah, see, I told you Bitcoin absolutely dumped there. Wow, that dumped like nearly $1,000. Then, yeah, that'll be the acid test to see what that looks like. But imagine you've got super crazy moves on ETH. Then all of a sudden that chain becomes way more excited. Why do you like XRP? Okay, I'm going to show you one graphic. I did this for my video yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it. Hopefully you did, by the way, because if you didn't see it, that means you don't watch any of my videos, and it would be great if you did, because it just helps out the channel and, you know, push the channel. But let me bring this up. So this is kind of why I like XRP and why I think XRP will do something different, and in my opinion, why I think and what's going on right now. We sort of looked a little bit at this yesterday on the live stream, but Ripple's acquisitions over the course of the last couple of years have been these: Memecoins, Standard Custody, Ripple Prime, which was Hidden Road, Rail, and G Treasury. And then ask yourself why. So why have Ripple been doing all of these acquisitions? Why are they spending all this money on buying loads of these particular companies? Well, it's what those companies do and how they all intertwine to offer a new system, in my opinion, the Ripple system, which is instant settlements and it's fast and efficient, all right? So you've got secure asset custody with Memecoins, you've got regulated digital holdings with Standard Custody. So if you think of these two as an example, basically what you've got here is that you can secure crypto, digital assets, whatever, right? Memecoins will support that. And by the way, Ripple own these companies. Standard Custody is going to regulate that. They're going to say, yeah, we are licensed to do it. We have the regulation approval that we need to have and all that kind of good stuff, right? So that's kind of second one. Institutional trading and FX with Ripple Prime. So it means that you can you can custody it, you can have it regulated, and you can trade it. So think about what's happening with things like BlackRock and all these, you know, parts. Corporate Treasury Solutions, G Treasury will support that. They also have massive amounts of data. So they'll be able to give all of these huge companies up-to-date analyst-specific data when it's coming to the markets. Not necessarily just all XRP, but that. And then Rail is a stablecoin payment platform. How do you get in and off the markets without going through an exchange? Do you think someone like, I don't know, JP Morgan's going through Binance or Mexi to get on the platform? No. What do you get? You get unlocked capital, real-time speed, reduced risk, and transformed banking. Moving beyond payments to global financial infrastructure. That's why I like XRP. No other coin or company is doing that. LARP bro reads from the screen. No zero, pure LARP. Cool. Why did you put it in text though? Hurts my feelings when it's in capitals. It does hurt my feelings when it's in capitals. If it's not in capitals, it don't hurt my feelings, but it does like that. Abababa has done a 3x since mentioned. I listened to the right people with that one. That's wild. Ripple will be the largest financial entry in the world. Yeah, maybe. I hope so. I hope so. Banks know that they need digital assets and Ripple. Think about what's happened in the last year, for example. Everything's been, banks can hold crypto, regulations been, you know, removed. Even, like we said the other day, Jerome Powell has been saying, oh, it's fine, banks can custody crypto. It's wild. It's wild. So what does LARP mean, by the way? I don't even know what that means. What does LARP mean, anybody? Is it like, I know what it means in like type of role-playing game in which participants physically act out scenario. Oh, that's kind of like, actually kind of, I guess it's kind of clever. I don't think that's how you meant it, but I could kind of see that. Because your view is that I'm role-playing someone who knows what they're talking about in the crypto market. Very good. I like it. I like your style. Don't leave though. Don't just put a comment and leave. It's sad when people do that, because it's almost like, you know, swearing down the phone and putting the phone down, isn't it? You're like, I don't like you very much, and then put the phone down. It's like, doesn't really count for anything. But so don't leave. All right. It's sad when people do that. I heard someone today with the Ripple SEC court thing has officially been ended. I mean, I've just given up looking at that. I think it ended. Yeah. See, that's what I thought it was. They have like leagues and stuff. Anyway, it's wild. We're totally going off topic if we start talking about that. But yeah. The whole SEC case, I think's done. Like, I think it's been done forever. I don't think it's worth even talking about anymore, but hey, interesting. I wonder why the market's just had a massive dump Anyone know? I haven't seen anything. There's nothing coming in terms of like a feed that's like, oh, you need to be careful. Look at this. What's happening right now? Maybe a liquidation event. Breaking Sky News understands Home Secretary Shivani is set to announce plans to reduce the number of police forces. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Is that true? Steve Witkoff and Kushner are already in the Kremlin meeting with Putin and Degens. Is that really true? That'd be wild if that's actually the case. That doesn't look like the Kremlin. Or does it look like the Kremlin? Imagine that. Oh yeah, just in, President Putin holds talks with US President Trump's aide Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Wow! Holy crap! That's pretty wild, isn't it? Look at this. That is pretty wild. Who would have thought that? Here you go. Look at this, though. China's discovered a hidden gold deposit beneath the ground with an estimated value of $86 billion. The problem with gold versus Bitcoin. To be the actor, that's what he manages for work. Talent agency. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, dear. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? Not yet, Craig. No, not yet. That's wild, though. I mean, fair play. Like that. Literally, I think Steve Witkoff was in Davos as well, wasn't he? So maybe we get, maybe there is some sort of peace deal that's on the, on the cards. Maybe there is. That'd be pretty wild. China's rapidly reducing US Treasury holdings while accelerating large-scale gold buying. See, I told you that was happening. Told you that was happening. Outside of that, there's not really anything else going on. No, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, wow. Maybe that, I mean, that wouldn't be a reason to dump markets. I don't understand why that's my Bitcoin is sold off. But yeah. I mean, possibly, Craig. Yeah. SE case was a static tactic to build clients and keep a retail market. Yeah, probably. Probably. I can't believe that guy's actually just came in, put that comment, and then gone. That's just a shame. Real shame. It was liquidity unless getting ready to go up. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Let's have a look at this. Because I'm just shining. Just in, Bumble trying to start to buy UKC's Bitcoin. Imagine. Mark is because you need to smash the like button. Exactly, Avon. That's it. People need to smash that like button to a brand new all-time high. Yes, Beebs, I do. I think it passes. I'm going to go out there and say I think it gets done. Well, I think there's two outcomes for this. Either it's done by the end of February or it gets scrapped, which I know is really unpopular, but I believe from what I read today that there has been loads of moves away from it, from a bipartisan support of it. So I believe loads of Democrats have moved away from it. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. I mean, look at the Clinton thing that's happened recently. Like, you got Democrats that voted to, is it not impeach, subpoena him maybe? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of the US law. I'm not sure. So yeah, I think by the end of February, it's either done and it's on its way back to the Senate for another vote, or it gets thrown out. Which would be disappointing, really, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The guy left the stream to reevaluate his life choices. Maybe. I think secretly he's still there. Secretly. Right, this is the order book on futures markets. We'll look at spot, actually, because it's probably a bit more interesting. So, yeah. So we saw a little bit of liquidity wiped out. You can see here, look, 89.5 is like a next thing. 175 BTC to break back above that. It's going to take a little bit of movement. Maybe we do it. Maybe we don't. American tanks invading Canada as we speak. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? Let's hope not, eh? Let's hope not. But yeah, I mean, that was a pretty strong wick down on a strong bit of selling here. Who would be in this market? It's all a big scam. All a big scam. Maybe, Craig. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they're just going over the border. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? That would be wild. Who knows, eh? Who knows? All right. Got to stay bullish. That's all I would say. That's all I would say. Stay bullish. I guess, what are we looking for? I mean, you can hope Asia's going to come in. I mean, what does it look like from a market perspective? Let's take a look really quick. Well, pre-markets actually look pretty favorable tomorrow, by the way. So maybe that's a good sign. XRP. You know it, baby. Let's get it. Pre-markets here on the Dow looks up 289 points. That's pretty wild, isn't it? The S&P looks up. NASDAQ is up. Shanghai, Nikkei's unchanged. I mean, all markets look like they're going to rally a little bit tomorrow. Commodities look like they're going to sell off a little bit. I mean, I don't know how true all of this is, but VIX volatility looks negative. US treasuries look like they're going to sell off. So maybe we come in with a solid, plan. Particularly if we're going to start to see Asia buy. I mean, they did last night, which is kind of, the US are the ones to worry about at the minute. US just are dumping this market. It tailored all the time, we're doing this. The only time the US hasn't dumped the market was when the market structure bill looked like it was going to go through. That's the only time we've not seen it. Outside of that, look, this is the US open here. So 1:30, 2:00, 2:30, 3:00. This is literally US market open. And then, consolidate, all doing well. Boom. Boom. They bought back some of their debt recently. Yeah, 2.3 billion. I think they're buying about 8 billion over the next, couple of weeks, maybe a month. How disrespectful for me. Huge typo in his name. So sorry. Dumb Donald Trump. Hey, Tubi, what's going on? Any bullish news for XRP? Yeah. Go and watch my XRP video that I put out today. It's talks about, in my opinion, their recent partnership with DXC. That's pretty interesting. Specifically what they're going to look to do as well. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, really. ETFs broke 800 million, which is good news. By the way, there's just some breaking news right now coming in, and it's not the greatest breaking news in the world, by the way. It isn't to Matter Peak, so I will pre-warn you before I bring this news up. But it's an interesting piece of news for me right now. So from Cointelegraph, it says new DEX. Astra's launched season 2 of its AI trading showdown, pitting 70 human traders against 30 AI agents with a $10,000 stacking Apple. Let's hope it pumps Astra, baby. Let's hope we get it. 6-1 up 0.97. Hopefully this trade plays and prints a nice little green candle, which will be bullish. Hi, so which indicator is best used below D volume? As in this volume here. Just type volume in. If that's what you mean. If that's what you mean. I mean, volume's kind of okay to see it. You can even see it here, like there. You can see like what volume's doing. I'd say a better indicator of where you think markets are going to go are EMAs. That's what I would track. So I have volume up here. I have EMAs, the 20, 50, 100, and then 200. And then I have the Crusaders signal, which I never use because you have to run it on a 15-minute chart, which is, yeah, I mean, I know some people that use it, but yeah, not me. Not me. It's like, triggered a buy signal here. Hold on a minute. And by the way, I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying, I'm just indifferent to it really. But, these people that talk about, oh, my software, it said buy. It's 100% delayed. There's not a cat in hell's chance that you've got a piece of software that tells you whether to buy or sell. Like, it's nonsense. Like, don't believe anyone that says that's true. You can literally have buy and sell on it. All they're doing is momentum predictions. So just be mindful of stuff like that. Right. What was that just flicked up? Massive amount of heading direction of Iran. Here we go again. Is that actually what he says? No way, bro. No way, bro. Oh no. It might be about to get tasty. The machine, it's like 800k. What's that? So the Aegis destroyer USS Roosevelt just relocated from the Persian Gulf to eastern Mediterranean. The big boy is key for ballistic missile defense with the SM-3 interceptors that have shielded Israel from Iranian strikes before. It's coming tomorrow. Hold on to your assholes. It's about to get absolutely wild. Broski. Come on. We don't deserve it. Not this week. Not this week. Probably have to be marginally careful what comes up here, but I mean, I'm not seeing anything at the minute. Not like, what's that? USS Abraham Lincoln is in the Indian Ocean and might enter the Arabian Sea tonight. It's as its AIS tracker is off for nearly 48 hours, approaching CENTCOM area. I'm assuming that is their encircling of Iran by US is nearly complete. Lots of cargo and strato tankers arrived in the Middle East this week. Oh, bro, come on. Let's just do Let's just have a look at something real quick. The bot trading MM. All right. I don't know what that is, but Raoul Powell said, get in before November, get in before December, now get in before January. Today, get in before February. Oh, man. Right. Let's have a look. Is this Iran? Iran. Okay. So let's see what's, I mean, there's not a lot flying over Iran, is there? Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. What's that? That's going from Phuket into Tehran. So there's quite a bit going into Tehran still. I mean, not super crazy ones, but I don't know if it would even bring them up. Yeah, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit more on there, but Damien Coleman's been in your fan club for a month. What's going on, Damien? You legend. Going from Tbilisi to Delhi. So yeah, I mean, where are they in here out there? This is where I think, is this the Gulf? Yeah. Oh no, that's the where's the Gulf, by the way? It's up here somewhere. The Gulf of Oman. Persian Gulf. All right, yeah. So I guess kind of chilling in here near Bahrain. Wild. I say bringing the back swan. I'm sitting in a pile of dry powder. I mean, so am I, in fairness. XRP at $10 this year. Let's go. Let's hope so, Alpha. Let's hope so. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They haven't closed their airspace. I mean, you know, they closed their airspace, didn't they, the other week? And then it was like, oh, well, yeah. It just seems a bit odd that everything's been moved there. And, you know, maybe this is kind of, I mean, is the market going to dump down here? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. It's going to zero. I hope not. Let's hope it doesn't, eh? Well, let's hope it doesn't, but I guess it could do. This isn't sounding good if we're looking at... Well, I don't think it won't be another war. It'll be similar to what it is. I think it's just a case of... I mean, I saw something early on saying that they were prepared to talk or something. They were trying to work some negotiations out or something. So whether that happens or not, we'll see. We'll see. What it doesn't need to be is like just all bad news, is it really? But SEC and CFTC announced joint event on January. Okay, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Oops. Oop. Oh, come on. Spell. It'll be handbags at dawn. I mean, maybe. It feels like it's getting that way, isn't it? So, so carrier, yeah. So the carrier strike group we know is in there now. That's gone over there. Abraham Lincoln, yeah. Iran will be wiped off the face of the earth. Donald Trump. Trump's direct response to the threats from Iran. No diplomacy, no ambiguity, just a blunt sanction. What have Iran said back? I don't know what Iran have said back to the US, by the way. I'm not sure. But haven't China moved some... haven't China moved some units there or something? I feel like... Oh, well, let's see. Let's see. Hopefully... yeah, well, hopefully we don't get it. Iranian protesters set fire to a statue of the IRGC General Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in the US airstrike ordered by Trump in January 2020. The video is dated January 8th, but we only publish now. Okay. All right, cool. Now, Trump, we have a big force going towards Iran. We have a massive fleet heading that direction. Oh, bro, hold on a minute. Is that actually true?
The U.S. has got sizable military assets.
You know, we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction. And we'll see what happens. A big force. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I stopped 837 hangings on Thursday. They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture. Very smart people, by the way. It's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit. It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So that was a good sign. But we have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. And maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
Okay, well, that probably gives an idea then, doesn't it? If tensions escalate and Iran makes a bad move, then I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? Like Trump's waiting for a reason. It's probably not a great thing to think about. It's probably like, you know, it's not like, well, if they mess up, it's coming. Abraham Lincoln's there, baby. We could do without it, I think. But like I said, at the start of the stream, I said I thought tomorrow was going to be pretty tasty. And I thought the whole Greenland thing is just a massive distraction. But we will have to wait and see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it doesn't end up being like that, but it feels like it might end up that way. But anyway, let's get the beers in. Going to be a long weekend. I feel like it's due. I feel like it. It could absolutely send us to Goblin Town, though, couldn't it, really? Although the last time, I don't think... Oh, maybe we need to add that back. We need to add that to the chart. Right, when was that? US hits Iran nuclear. When did that actually happen? June 22nd, 2025. Okay, so we need to stick that on the we need to stick that here in our Bitcoin chart just for a geopolitical thing. What did I say it was? June 22nd, 2025. Man, that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? June 22nd, March, June, July. Here we go. June 2024. Bro, the heck. What the heck am I doing here? Like, what is my life right now? June 22nd, 2025. There we go. Bingo. Got it. And that was Iran hit by Trump. There we go. All right. Excellent. So the markets didn't really do much, actually, at that point, did they? We saw a little bit of a sell-off down to the 100-day EMA and then a bounce the next day and all the way back up again. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen again right now, but I guess it wasn't as bad as maybe people think it was. I mean, war in general is just not a good thing, is it? Let's just call it as it is. Like, the only people that make, the only people war's good for are people that make aeroplanes, ammunition, and bombs, and we definitely know all of that. We definitely don't do any of that. Please name the indicator in between volume and RSI on the chart. Or this green and red thing here. Is that what you mean? That is essentially the MACD. This is the MACD, this. So, yeah, RSI is the orange and blue, and then the MACDs. It's one single chart. So, again, it's going to give you momentum against what the RSI is doing. So, it's like a confirmational chart as well. Cracker says, don't work meetings make me miss the whole stream. Gold and silver is all I'm saying. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, the green-red one, it's a MACD, basically. That's what that is. I was still bullish. Long-term, yes. Short-term, no. I think that's fair. I think it's that. VWAP. I mean, I don't have the VPVR indicator on. Maybe we should put that back on. I always forget which one it is, though. Because I like the one. Oh, is it this one? Oh, this might actually be, in fairness. I can't believe I just actually nailed that. It's not that one, though. VPVR, here it is. That's what we want. Because you want it at the other side, not this side. So we want it at... not like that. Not like that. Oh, bro, what's going on here? This is what annoys me. It's like, I want it the other side. Why is it doing it like that? It shouldn't do it like that. It should do it the other way. Oh, I'll sort it out at a different time. It sounds cool anyway. Oh yeah, bullish. You know it is. We do make tanks and planes and helicopters. Leave alone. Yeah, I mean that's true. That is true. I don't think the US will be coming to buy us. I mean, Bitcoin has just gone green again, so you know maybe there's just maybe there's a little bit of foul play. Market's starting to move. Yeah, it looks like it. So nice little uptick here on the 15-minute. Let's get it, baby. Let's move it. Let's groove it. Yeah, I can't think which one it is. There's one of them, VPVR, that you get on the other side. I thought it was that one, but maybe not. Maybe it's this one, actually. Maybe it's this one. Hold on a minute. I know. Yeah, it just looks daft on that side, doesn't it? All right, I'll do it another one. San just plunked about 16 cents again. Wow, get it. If they can just tap 90k liquidity cascade to it. Yeah, I mean, maybe if we can see a bit of a push up, that would be nice. I mean, order books here. So it's all futures though. Look at this. This is the spot market. So we're not seeing a lot in terms of just general spot. So it's all futures market right now. So, you know, maybe people are feeling a bit more optimistic about tomorrow. Maybe there's a small hope that, you know, we actually could open a little bit more bullish. I don't know. I mean, options are feeling a little bit of a tick up. Nothing super crazy, but you know, maybe futures markets start to tick up. That would be nice. That could give us a little bit more of an upside move. But yeah, can we do a quick tier again on Sand, please? I believe we're looking at the higher high and the higher lows. It's down here, I think. Sand, there it is. Man, it's up 10%, Craig. What, bro? I mean, interestingly, what you could get here with Sand when you look at this, so you got a couple of key things. So you're now starting to see potentially a bullish crossover here for the 20-day EMA crossing the 50. It's broke that. It's currently holding the 100-day EMA. A break above this actually could start to see Sand rally a little bit. But yeah, you know, in theory, here's the bottom. I mean, you could argue maybe higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So, you know, yeah, in theory, it's kind of going up. You want to see this push a little bit higher, or certainly predict it would be another move tomorrow, maybe to like 17.2. That would be a key resistance for back here as well. Maybe even such higher, actually. Maybe something like that. You know, maybe it comes back up, retest this level, prints another candle tomorrow. I mean, Sand, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Sand might have a run along with the gaming narrative. I mean, while you got Axios Infinity going crazy, maybe you get a little bit more, you know. How high it goes and how far it goes, Craig, is a question for anyone, and only one can answer it. But yeah, just go into the settings and click on the align on the other side. Is that actually true? Settings on my actual chart, or in the actual VPVR indicator. I'll have to have a look. Oh my god, what is that? I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's go Bitcoin. Get back to all-time highs. Let's do it. That's going to do it for the end of the show. We've been live now an hour and 25 minutes. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me for the live stream. As always, look out for content. Would be great. Hit the like button, drop a comment on it, do all that good stuff. It's a bit of a grind right now. I'm not looking for sympathy, by the way, but it is a bit of a grind. The channel's really stagnant, and I don't know why. I don't think my content's changed. I don't think I've done anything too crazy, but yeah, it'd just be great if people could engage with it. As always, thank you, though, for tuning to the live streams. The live streams are great, by the way. We're absolutely killing it with the live streams, but content feels a bit of a grind at the minute. But as always, I'll be back tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time, breaking all these markets down. And obviously, the topic of the day tomorrow is, are we going to see Iran? Maybe that becomes a thing. Maybe not. We'll talk about it all tomorrow. Right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.